Testing, testing, 1, 2.
Chicken,
we're here.
Yo.
Kia ora, kia ora. Yes, we are here. Oh, I better turn that music down in my earphones. Hang on a sec, bro. We made it.
Kia ora koutou. Oh, look, ABC 123. Obviously not spam over there in Queensland, Brisbane, Australia. Hope you're good, F1. Hey, kia ora Māori Maiden over on Twitch. Kia ora, kia ora.
Oh, ABC.
Ali's there too. He just subscribed, so thanks for that sub. Thanks, Paliale.
Kia ora, Paliale. Everyone over on Facebook. Tēnā koutou. Hey, I was watching some lives on TikTok.
Oh yeah, your boy did a live on TikTok, didn't he?
He's going live all the time. Little shit's going live at school.
Yeah.
In the classroom.
Hey.
He's a live addict, that one. But I was watching these other guys on live as well. They were doing the multicam kind of, not quite like this sort of setup. They're all just on their phones and stuff, but it was good. I know. Maybe we could find a way to stream live to TikTok at the same time. Across all platforms.
Okay, like, actually, if you look at that, you know that Zoom thing here? Oh yeah, maybe. I was trying to figure out how we might be able to do it
What's that?
because it all comes off the phone.
Yeah. We'd have to plug our phones in, and I mean, you know, I could actually go live on TikTok right now.
Oh yeah, on Dad's profile
Yeah.
or on your profile.
And I'll just point it at the screen.
Go on then.
Turn it down. Not that we don't love all you fellas over on the other platforms. There's enough of us to go around.
Yeah. Kia ora hua ma, nā mihi kaukau a koutou hua mo tēnei wiki. Well, we haven't worked out what we're going to talk about today. We're supposed to have some maruhiri today. Well, no, mihi atu kia koutou mai tawhiti nui, tawhiti roa. E te whanau na pick up. Kia ora, tuku ai. Ia koutou, ia keri. Ai, mihi atu ni a koutou. Yeah, I'm just doing this little piece of work here. See if anybody want to grab it tonight. See what we get for it.
Dad's in the mood for an auction. Speaking of auctions, actually, the piece over to your right, Dad, that's currently up on the website. All proceeds from that auction are going to the National Burns Unit that operates out of Middlemore Hospital as part of the commemorations and memorializations of the victims and those also injured in the Whakaari eruption. Ko toi te moana tērā.
I think you should do a painting with my name in it sometime, Dad.
Oh, yeah?
I'm just saying. Oh yeah. Our name. Can I just say our name?
Our name. Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so we were supposed to have a guest on, but things fell through. So,
we were going to have Rangi from the Mana Media, guys, part of the Freedom Coalition, but he's given his apologies. He's in a whānau wānanga apparently, so and we are trying to get a couple of other people on. Not that we can't spend 2 hours just talking amongst ourselves, but
what's that little piece Dad's painting at the moment?
Oh, it was a spare canvas I had over here. I've been in Toy's house for a while. They had a big dollar sign on it. I don't know how.
Literally 2 minutes ago. Yeah, just jump out of the way, Dad. I'll zoom up on this camera.
Okay. Yeah. It's a small piece. It's a small piece of work. I can get the ruler and give you a measurement on it.
Oh yeah, I can still see the dollar sign in the background.
Yeah.
Kaziati just walked in the house.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So this one here
Then our
is
guest.
Yeah, we got guests walking in.
400 by 300. millimeters.
It's quite a nice canvas, that one. It's very,
But it's very nice canvas.
yeah, it's a thick canvas.
I'm just putting the layers on it now.
Kia ora, Axiom, Ultra, Ultra Mega. Axiom Ultra Mega. Over there on Twitch. Paula, tēnā koe. Mita, tēnā koe hoa. Oh, kia ora, Mark. Yeah, we're all good, Axiom. All the goodness.
Oh man, I was a bit knackered. I needed to have get the bro to bring me some crazy sugar water.
Some Raz. No. There's zero sugar in that.
Oh, there is too.
Yeah. It's all...
How come it's so sweet?
All caffeine.
It's all man, I needed that. I was going to fall asleep.
I had my sleep.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on... I'm not sold on the wisdom of having 3,000 milligrams of caffeine at 6 o'clock at night, but we'll see how you're going at 4 a.m.
Sure, Pork Bonehead. How are you doing, mate, bro? Sorry about the nickname. It's stuck. It's going to be that. We like it. It's you, Pork Bonehead and Pale Ale. That's it. That's what happens on Twitch. Yeah, it's pretty. We were going to have some action tonight, Pork Bone, but it fell through on us. So it's just us at the moment. We're just waiting for our producer, Tiff Hens, to hook us up with an interview. So she's ringing around at the moment to see if we've got some peeps out there that might want to join us. Yeah, we weren't the... See, Paleale, we weren't the only ones who thought that's how your name was said. So what were you up to today, Dad? You seem pretty excited by what you were doing today?
Yeah, I've been working on this project for Wellington, and we've got some images on it, and so yeah, I never done this before, and I mean I've done a lot of big, but this really huge project we're doing in Wellington, happening around about September. The wiki o te reo Māori. Yeah, you know, when you come up with some ideas, so working with different people in different parts of creating this work, and so I see a way that they took some shots of it, and yeah, so it's transforming the artwork actually in steel and other objects.
I think he's gone to grab one.
Yeah, and I cut it to bits, the pieces you would have seen on Instagram when I was doing the cutting and shaping it, and from that and on to steel. So we're still working on it. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Have you gone? Yes, we can hear you.
Oh yeah, I'm out in the workshop now. I'm just gonna see if I can bring one in.
Okay,
You want me to bring one in?
sure. Do
Yeah.
you need the Cuzzies' help?
Yeah. So, yeah, well, we're hoping to do about over 100 of them, maybe 200 of steel work and in steel, different material. The project will whakatumatuma. It's the around the 50 years of the Maori petition, Te Reo Maori, that presented to Parliament 50 years ago by Ngā Tamatua, Te Reo Maori from Pōneke, and people like Katie Dews, their father, Koro Dews, all of that from the Whare Wānana in Christ. Yeah, oh, here it is. So have a look at this one. So it takes two fellas here to lift it.
It's about 80 kilos.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, see with the camera operator. So yes, that's taller than me.
Go, stand next to it. It is literally taller than you.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's close to 2 meters tall, that.
Yeah, so it's...
So you're going to have about 100, 200 maybe of those all...
Yeah, maybe 200 of these, but they're all different shapes, not quite that one with the bowler hats. Yeah, it could be you. Yeah, there it is, that's a good shot.
Go, put it in the back of your shop, bro. You can take it next door. Can sit in the back in front of the... if you put it in front of the new aircon power thing. Next door, behind you.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yep.
Yeah. So you can...
Go that way, bro.
So imagine having 200 of those. Yeah, might have borrow your fella's truck. Yeah, yeah. You see if there's anybody got a lazy truck there for better painting, better Tame Iti painting. Well, whakaaro noa.
Yeah, if you stick it straight in front of the that power thing, you'll... No, the other one, the one going up the wall. Oh, yeah. It's the one.
Yeah, big arms. You gotta have big arms like that, left that. Especially when you gotta... Especially if you
we'll
gotta
grab
put
the
down
negative as
Castro
well.
in there.
Oh, yeah, or grab the other guy. Grab the other one, the other dude.
Oh, the Uri one.
Yeah. Let's bring the Uri out.
Hang on. We'll
Yeah. I've got to put gold on there one. Sandblasted in,
Gold Uri.
yeah, the Ude weather in gold.
Where do you want this one? In my room?
Yeah. Put it next to the other one. You can see it pretty good.
Yeah, we'll go this way.
So it's hard steel. Well, what size steel that toy?
It's called Core 10 steel. That steel. So the unique feature of Core 10 is that it oxidizes or rusts, and as it on the other side, my bro, I reckon put it on the other side.
Yeah.
Put it on the other side. As it rusts, that actually becomes the protective layer. And
There it is.
And it won't corrode any past that, so it won't deteriorate past the initial corrosion. So they often turn quite yellow.
So that's
We're gonna have Uncle Tingaloo on.
You thought it was a Rocks Fest before.
Oh, weird.
yeah, there you are.
Thanks, bro.
So that's steel, hard, bulletproof. It's bulletproof, I think. Might get 3 bullets through that. Might bounce off. Yeah. So imagine seeing about 200 of those. It would be huge. Yeah, so it's going to be down. So we're working on that. We're still creating the work, and trying to put it together. So yeah. So it's going to be over there.
Here's the cardboard.
It's a cardboard. So from the cardboard.
The cardboard pattern that we made. The Dad's had that up on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not looking good.
Yeah.
So Uncle Tingilo Ness is going to be with us in about 10 minutes.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Tingilo.
Oh, Timmy. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, his one brother been around a long time.
Long time.
Met him back in the 70s. And with the Panthers on Ponsonby Road. Yeah, great musician. Of course, there's Shefu's dad. Whakapapa to that from him. And also the mum too, very good musician.
Yes, passed not too long ago, so.
Yeah. So they should be in sale on the last hour of the night. So see what we get for it.
Maybe not.
You need fish and chip money, Dad. Hey, thanks to Whenua for hooking us up there and sorting out the guests for tonight. Thanks for that. Always in the house, Benz.
Yeah, my battery get low on my earphones.
Oh. Okay. Should we take a quick commercial break?
Oh, no. I know what we can do. I got you.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I just found all these avocados in my bag.
Holding out on the avocados.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I just pulled some.
I forgot. Oh, here you go, Archie. I forgot my neighbor gave them to me. All right, I'm just charging up a little bit here.
What's it on?
It's on 1 dot. I'll give it 5 minutes and see if we can. A few questions coming in here. What have we got here? Toy, how was your experience at Otago University? Did you go to Otago University?
Yeah.
Not quite sure. Not sure, Tyrone.
No. I went to Auckland Boys Grammar. That was about as institutionalized as I got, which is pretty institutionalized. Where?
Lance, I'm not sure what you mean there. Is that Archie? Why did he?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Anei.
Oh. Was that on Facebook?
No, it's just a message for you.
Oh.
Oh, you can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here. Or
Okay, get off.
Oh, Lance, I see. Was that Archie helping? Carl, that was our cousin Ati Tepa.
One year today, Mum. Oh, yeah. Okay.
oh, yes, Ati. Yes, that is Archie. I think that's what he's asking, isn't it? That's the cuz.
Oh,
Actually, just a mihi to our sister. Well, we used to call her Ama, Rauhihi. And when 1 year ago, wow, that was pretty, yeah, that was fast. Ki te tuahine kia koe e takoto e no e noho mai nā koe I tua o te ārai. Ai, tēnei kua hoki kia koe e te tuahine. Kai konei tunu mātau, kai kona kōtau, kia tu ia te wechi church, ia te wechi tihi, ia hape, ko hape tēnei I natahiri ai tērā wiki ngā ora. Kōrua, kōrua ko hape, lomad, katoa. Hoi nora ki tō whānau, ki o mokopuna hoki, he mihi kauatane ia kōtau. Hoi no mō tā kōtau pānui tuku mai kia hau. Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me actually. Yeah, and yeah, I had some interesting time with your fellas, Mama, Nanny, and during the People's Union. She's very much involved there in Ponsonby Road. We also took a trip over to China together with Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson's still around. He's over in Melbourne from Ngāti Whakauwe, an old comrade. He's about in his mid-80s. And Timmy Maipi also in his mid-80s. He's still around, those two guys still around. And but we lost, of course, your mum, your father's nanny, Mama, and Hone Tūwhare. He's also a very interesting guy too. And you know, just a lot of kōrero, interesting fellow to hang out with back in the early 70s, the poets and artists. I attended one of Ralph Hotere's exhibition was in on the main street over in Kirikiriroa. Yeah, and then this is where I met guys like Sam Hunt, Hone Harawira, but they're pretty out of the guys, you know. I couldn't keep up with it. You whiskey fellas, you know, they're hard out on the whiskey. I get knocked out just on the beer, little known getting on the on that. Yeah, but they were all on the other shit too, you know, all the other stuff. Good stony stuff, you know, acid trips, those guys. And other than that, but very interesting mind, you know, the way they think, the way they see things, the way they view things, and the way they the use of the English language. Yeah, so I learned a lot from those guys. I was just the young fella then, back in those days. So kia ora kia koutou. Yeah, and I'm going to work on this piece there, so should I have it done, and I'll come up with a name for it, and see who's keen to have a bet on it.
Kia ora, Albert's over there in Hawaii.
Aloha. Aloha, Albert. Oh, cheer, Tom.
Okay, bear with
Tēnā koe,
Bear
Tom.
with me, whānau. I'm gonna bring in Uncle Tiggy.
Hey.
Kia ora matua.
Kia ora. Korero. Yes.
Yeah, this one
Been
flat.
a while.
Oh, the headphones have gone flat. Oh, good timing there, Dad.
Oh,
Tēnā koe, Uncle. Just, tai hoa, we just got some technical issues. One moment.
we just got to change his headphones over, Uncle, just so that he can hear you. Tai hoa.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on at short notice.
Oh, good.
It's good to see your smiley face.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, it has.
I might have to give them these headphones, my bro.
Okay, all right. So yep.
I'm mainly pretty on to it and making sure all my gears are, my part is
Wow.
all ready for action.
Hey, bro, I might just I've got the battery here. I'll send it over. Oh, I see. So that will go into. Oh, where?
Oh, where?
What have you been up to, Uncle? You been staying safe?
Yeah. All of that.
Whereabouts are you right now?
I'm at the back of my place. I'm in Greyland.
Oh yeah, you've been. How long have you been in Greyland? Forever.
Over 60 years now.
And that's where all your kids were raised.
Yes.
And the and so you've just been kind of laying low.
Well, we started back up talking to the schools again. You know, we all had to have police checks and stuff like that, so we could go and talk to the schools. Yeah, had a good
Oh yeah.
Sacred Heart. Yeah, and starting to Zoom now too.
How are you finding that? I mean, here you are on our live stream via Zoom.
Well, it's all new to me, brother. It's all new to me, you know.
Yeah. And I guess from back in the days when you knew Dad and when you guys were hanging out as young fellas, things have changed a lot, huh?
Oh yes, this is the new waka, isn't it?
Aye. Dad, can you see Tiggy there on the TV?
Oh, hey, kia ora, my brother. How are you?
Yes, brother.
Yeah. Good to see you. You're looking very healthy there, my bro.
Trying to keep it up, brother. You know. Yeah,
Can't hear.
that's some amazing work.
Oh, yeah, I can hear now. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, get in there. You know,
Awesome.
it took a long time for me to get the drift to it, you know. And you don't have to think about it now. You just go flow, you know, the brush, the flow, to get the rhythm, just like music, I guess. You know, once you get that guitar and your voice out there, you just flow. And I
that's
find,
right.
Hey, and so I find art is the same. I just pick it up and just go flow. You know, as long as I have a good sleep, good rest, and then I'm go. And that could happen 4 o'clock in the morning. That could happen 5 o'clock at night.
That's right.
Hey, so there's no set time when you do something like that. Yeah. So I find it, especially as in our age group, I find it more interesting. So I don't do anything else. Yeah, and become my way of life. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Still doing the music. Like you say, 4 o'clock in the morning when everybody's asleep and everything's quiet.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, and so and so how long you've been playing music for 60 years as well?
Went sort of semi-pro in 1979 after Uncle Bob came here.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Didn't you go to England and meet up with a crew called Kiss Kitty? Yeah,
That's
you brought
right.
A group, you brought a group to Ruatoki and with performing artists and with you, Mirata,
Yes.
Mirata Mita, and we
Yes.
had it at the Rewa Rewa Marae. And all those old kui over there really enjoyed that, eh? Yeah, and fantastic. Tell me about that. Now tell me how did you meet up with them, with the Kistery?
Oh, it was through brother Dennis O'Reilly.
Okay.
He went over to England after he went to Jamaica.
Okay. Okay.
And he went to Jamaica with Rob Muldoon.
Oh.
Rob Muldoon
that's a arcade combination.
To Jamaica.
Yeah, I forgot about them hanging out together, drinking whiskey together. Yeah.
Well, Rob Muldoon was chairman of the International Monetary Fund, eh?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And he went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dennis went to Jamaica, and he was sort of threatened by some black youth there.
Oh, okay, being a white boy.
Yes. And you know, brother Den.
Oh, yeah.
So a truckload of them chased him, and they were all armed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, because he drove through Trench Town in an open top Mercedes. You just don't do that in Trench Town.
Didn't read the room.
Yeah. So he ended up in London and heard this theatre group performing Lament for Rastafari.
Yeah, that's right.
So he sent me a letter, you know, because no internet back then.
Yeah, that's right.
So about a month later, I get a letter from him. Am I interested in bringing this group over?
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So that's how it started. Yeah.
Wow.
We formed a committee and got some funding and brought 21 of them over. And we came down the coast there, eh, brother? Yeah. We went all over the place. And Merata filmed it. Yeah.
Yes, that's Merata Meta.
Yes.
I wonder where that footage is.
That'll be in the archives somewhere.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have seen. I think I got it on my email. That one Merata boy, the young boy.
Yes.
He sent the email across with that. Yeah. Wow.
And so this was before Rob Muldoon was the Prime Minister, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he went on to be quite a hardcore Prime Minister when you think about it. Like, you know, for someone who's been to Jamaica, and then some of the. I remember growing up, and we always knew him as Piggy Muldoon. That's what.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he was the Prime Minister that was in the Beehive when the Springbok tour was happening.
Yeah.
When the protest happened.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Bastion Point, was he the Prime Minister then too?
Yep.
He was infamous.
Yep.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. Interesting guy. Actually, before he became a Prime Minister, he used to be the Minister of Finance back in the 70s.
Under Holyoke.
The 70s, yes.
Under Holyoke, and I remember chasing him, and I remember I said, Piggy Muldoon, and I had a flag, I had a brown paper bag full of flour, and I threw it at him, but I missed it, of course. It just landed right in, not quite to him, but it just landed on on his feet. There was a youth protest at Muldoon's funny policy, because then he was talking about you don't need to talk about the Maori language, you know. You need to talk
That's
about
right. Just like
that
that.
kind of thing. You were talking like, you just want to learn about the Japanese language, you know. You were talking like that. Yeah, I always remember. I got to get you, the fucking little shit. Yeah. So, so I caught up with him. Yeah. He came. He was a guest speaker at a youth conference in Christchurch. It could have been 1970 or 1971. Yeah. So, but he was interesting because I'm a recruiter on Muldoon's policy. He started the detached youth worker. It was running under the
That's right.
Internal Affairs Department. And that's when I was running the camps over in the Uruwera, Waimana, up to Mangapuhatu. And keep the kids off the streets back in those days. So Dennis O'Reilly was the first recruit of Muldoon's policy.
That's right. That's right.
And so they were during our period of time. Yeah.
And did because Muldoon became kind of like a bit of a cult figure in his later years, didn't he? He was kind of like in the.
Well, he was in the Rocky Horror Show.
He was in.
Well, not
and
the
so,
Rocky Horror
he
Show,
kinda-
but in the New Zealand version of the Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like there's something a little bit similar, Dad. Like you're a bit of a sort of
What?
cult icon.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I had my earphone going in and out.
I just saying you and Piggy Muldoon are kind of the same in your cult icon status. Maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks so. All right, okay, fine.
I think you're the only one.
Yeah, okay. All right.
No one's appreciating the comparison, my bro.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You'll see it later. Don't worry. It'll come. Hey Matsua, and so back in the days we had Ngā Tamatoa and we had the Polynesian Panthers, and you guys were, you guys were doing your thing side by side there, and how was that? You guys were at the sort of the forefront of your movements and a lot of social change happening back in those days, and we're coming into that 50 years of the Māori language petition, and so talk to us just a little bit about sort of how you guys sort of work together, or in terms of how you guys ended up sort of crossing over, if at all.
Yeah, well, I think Ngā Tamatoa, the same as the Polynesian Panthers, started off mostly from university students. I think because back then no internet and stuff, and it took a year at least for information from overseas to reach here. So for us, the Polynesian Panthers, it was the Black Panthers in America who politicized us. We got to read and hear about what they were doing, and I think Ngā Tamatoa around about that time too were the university students who had enough, and they were learning, like as we were young, politicized, starting to, kick back against what was happening to us at the time, because racism was very blatant back then. I mean, we had things like, people going by go home bunga and, go back to the islands. The same thing with Tame and the brothers there and the sisters there. We also knew as Pacific Islanders, our language we spoke and knew very well, because our parents, just fresh off the boats. So, we were brought up like that. And I was sort of shocked when I first heard you fellas, when you were little, you sounded like Pacific Islanders, man. The way you were talking, yeah. And I thought, whoa, these kids. It was so it sounded very Islander. I think these were the only ones really that were brought up, speaking the reo. So I think that was one of the things that brought us together. Not only the racist things we were facing, but the language. Yeah.
Aye.
Yes. And with the and so you also there was you had things like the dawn raids as well, which were kind of coming through and had a significant impact on the Pacific Island community coming through there, and so that whole experience. I mean, we're seeing obviously a lot of political stuff happening today, and then but I guess and Dad's been talking about it in the last few live streams, just around sort of the experiences that you guys had back in those early 70s, with leadership like Rob Muldoon and a little bit more hardcore on the police side of things,
Yes.
So that must have been a real, you're coming through, sort of seeing things happening today and kind of feeling, seeing what you guys were doing back in the 70s. Like, it must be an interesting sort of look at what's happening today.
Yeah, well, we were doing things that nobody else did, and it was for us and for our peeps. Things that were happening to us, like the dawn raids. Nobody else stood up for us Pacific Islanders except for Ngāta Matua. People like Sid Jackson, who helped us get employment. He was a member of the union. He was a union delegate. Well, he helped us find work. He helped him and Hannah. So we sort of, faced really the society together because we were suffering the same conditions and mistreatment, But we also felt that as Tangata Whenua, we knew that this was a Māori country and not a Palangi one like what they told our parents, We knew growing up that things weren't right, and that how are we able to speak our language, and our brothers and sisters, that lived in the same hood as us weren't. So that woke us up, really, and then later on, as we learned about the misappropriation, history of land and, issues like Bastion Point further on, because, how can this be in this country that was telling the rest of the world we got a harmonious relationship here? We knew that was bullshit, So we naturally, I think, gravitated together because Tangata Whenua's cause is our cause, is what we felt. And later on, and we learned about Taina and Tuakana. So, the history that we were taught at our schools in Auckland here were all bullshit, were all lies. So later on in life, I find Kapani Cook, well, hell, he called Niue Savage Islands. So how can this white man from up north there, right out of the whole Pacific, come down here and name us who we are? So I sort of grew up like that, Oh, you want to call us savage? I'll give you savage, man. So we find right through history, we had to relearn, and we more or less gravitated together, because when the dawn raids happened, it was Ngāta Matua that stood up for us, and a lot of the other Palangi Pākehā groups who, like Accord, Auckland Citizens on Racial Discrimination. I mean, racism is their problem, and we always said that. You fellas got to fix it because we're hurting. And you know what happens when people get hurt and stood over, and that it breeds resistance, and this is what you're going to get. So we just gravitated together, and a lot of the issues, as we found out later on, I mean, we were only 17. I was 17 when I joined the Polynesian Panthers,
Wow.
Straight out of school. They kicked me out of school. I was expelled from one of the top schools in Auckland here because I had an afro.
Wow.
And we were just learning about our identity and being proud of who we are. And these people say, no, you can't. So that made me look at how come I was being treated like so. And then I find, they're treating all brown people the same.
How were the older generation in your community, Uncle? Because they with Christianity and conservatism, I know inside of Te Ao Māori, Ngā Tamatoa weren't necessarily supported by the post-World War II generation who were quite patriotic. Was that the same for you, for your community?
Yeah, understandably so. That generation, our parents came here and were humble, Christian. Don't bite the hand that feeds you and turn the other cheek and all of that kind of stuff, Christianity. But that was the like what Malcolm X said, we became politicized. Just like what Malcolm X says, I don't believe in no blonde hair, blue-eyed white devil Jesus Christ, So, so we...
Hey, and you didn't know then, actually, he wasn't blonde, white and blue-eyed. He was actually, he was would have been a dark-skinned, bloody Araby sort of Jewish guy from that part of the world. But that's not the picture we were sold.
That's right. And, Carl Perkins from the House of Shem, he got it right. Shem is brown.
Yeah, that's
Japhet
right. Yeah.
is white.
Yeah.
Ham is black. We're all Shem. That's what these supremacists and right-wingers, they don't read their Bible right. That's what Carl was trying to tell everybody, the House of Shem. Because in the Bible, see, Japhet, white, and Ham will dwell in the tents of Shem. That's why Carl called his band House of Shem.
Yes,
all these people are going to dwell in your tents, brother. We're going to come to the marae. That's where it's going to be sorted out, man. See the stuff with Putin and all the rest of them up in Europe? They don't know about Aroha. Yet our roots are the same, Yeah? So at some stage, they got to get some understanding, and it's all going to come from down this end, brother.
We've been talking a lot.
I was telling everybody.
We've been talking a lot lately, Uncle, about you with Dad and his activism and transitioning into being active through his artwork rather than necessarily being on the front line. And fellas like you still have a lot to give, because it's not just at the front line and the protest anymore. It's actually about, for you to reach people's hearts and minds, it's a different language talking through the arts. Is that the same with you and the mahi you're doing now?
Oh, yes. See, like what Putin's trying to do over there in Ukraine, he's trying to wipe out their culture, Ukraine culture, by getting rid of their language, their museums, all their artifacts. He's trying to destroy it. See, Europe, they haven't changed that much, hey, brothers?
That's true. It's the tactics of that type of war, which is to hit the arts, hit the culture.
Yes. That's right. And right at the heart of it is the language, is the reo, is our kupu. So they've tried that already, but with in the 70s with the resurgence, mainly, a lot through Ngā Tamatoa, the young warriors, the resurgence from then, which is how it is, where we are today.
And so you're still making music now, eh, Uncle? You're still like recording. I think you're still winning awards even, bro. So that's like, how so there's still a lot of creativity in you, and do you find, as Tor was saying, is this a really good outlet for you to be able to kind of get those stories out?
Yes. I think if we had continued, like your dad, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be alive today. So our creative outlet, we have to feed our spirit. We can't, you only got one life, one shot. So to reach more people through art is a better way than, going out and haranguing people and carrying placards and frontline stuff. Well, at our age, we got to step aside and let young ones come through and do that. But they got to have some guidance, otherwise they'll all go over the cliff. And we can't have that. That's not our whole purpose. Like Che Guevara says, A true revolutionary is moved by great feelings of love for the people. That's why the art, and I see the art in your father, he's reaching a lot more people. Not only, also all kinds of people, all races, and, through art. And what I learned from the Black Panthers in America, art. Otherwise that'd be all dead, brother. We'd fight ourselves because it's greater, and it's ancient, the battle that we fight, and it's a spiritual one, So we got to win. We got to win people over, not kill them off,
And this and I suppose this is something that you've passed on to your tamariki, and obviously Shay's been doing music, and he's the man. So must make you proud to have that passed on, and for that to be carried on, and I suppose with your mokos as well.
Yes, brother. Me and his mum instilled in Shay, which is why we called him Shay, after Che Guevara. Instilled in him to get as big as you can, as large as you can. That way people can't knock you. So he's ran with that. And also to embrace and be proud of who he is, his culture, the Māori side and the Niue side of him, use both. Because when he's with his Māori whānau down Foxton there, he's a bunga. And when he's up here with his Niue family, he's a hori. So some do make the most of both,
No, for sure. That's no, it's good. I haven't seen the bro for a little while now, and so actually I did see him at the Black Panthers. The Polynesian Panthers reunion earlier this year, and that was awesome to see him there. So
yes.
Was it good to be back together with everybody?
Oh yes, 50 years. No one can knock us now, brother. It's the same with Ngā Tamatoa. Nobody can knock them. They've been doing this for longer than anybody else that's still alive,
Yeah. No, it's true. Well, we've had a pretty sort of interesting time with what's been happening down in Wellington, and a lot of people calling for Dad to come down and kind of be part of that, and it's started to get pretty hairy and quite there was because Dad kind of came out and was like not really my thing anymore, and and so were there similar calls to people in your community to get down there?
Nobody's dared to call us yet, brother. But I always quote Tame. I always quote your dad. When they say, I says, you know what? Tame Iti says, that's not tino rangatira. That's not manakitanga. You don't go down to Wellington to get freedom. I tell them that. I tell them that's what Tame says. And I agree, So all those ones, brother, misled. They listen to the internet in a wrong way. And it all started about after Trump and all of that kind of thing. So, I mean, those people, whoa, dangerous.
Have you experienced the same?
Sort of back.
I was going to ask, have you experienced inside of the Māori community, there's been such a division, and I guess we felt that nationally as well, but what about within the Pacific community? Is there it's divided households sometimes in whānau. Has that been the same inside of your community?
I think our Pacific Island people look to us for some guidance there, because I don't see very many Pacific Island people involved in that thing down there. And also, a lot of them have followed Brian Tamaki and his crew. So, there's a whole faction, but no real leadership. Because when it comes to the crunch, nobody's prepared to go to prison like how we were. So that's how you know that, if they're prepared to go all the way, then by all means do. And I don't stand in front of anybody who's got something to say, as long as, it's worthwhile and if they're prepared to go to prison, for me, not necessary for all of us Panthers, but for me, that's the marker. You got to be prepared to go to prison for what you believe in, because the system that you're up against, well, those people down there, they've been misled. And it all starts from that Canadian convoy thing, So I'm looking at who's funding all that and who's financing all that, None of those leaders come forward.
Yeah,
and I'd be surprised if there was a Pacific Islander down there. I'd stand up and thump him. Hey, boy, get your facts right, man.
Well, yeah, it's been an interesting time for everyone, and we're just, I guess we're opening the door for conversation, trying to find people to talk about that particular, their particular issues and have a constructive debate about it and sort of see if we can get through it. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to find people who want to talk about it that don't kind of veer off into some other, quite heavy
conspiracy
paranoid, conspiratorial,
So we've been looking to try and find some good speakers that we could have a good conversation with.
Because this is the thing, Uncle, that we've been saying here too, is that like fellas like you and Dad, you fought the system. You continue to question authority. Yes. You continue to hold authority to account, to understand the institutionalized and systemic inequalities and racism, in the sense of systemic racism that your communities, that yourselves personally and whānau have felt. And so it's not like you're lightweights on that subject matter.
Exactly.
You understand that stuff. You've been doing it for, 50 years, literally 50 years you've been doing it for.
Yes.
And then to be called out and said, "Oh, you guys have obviously got an old or sellouts," it's a little bit hard to take. So I'm glad that you that you would go down and thump them. You still have that.
Well, someone's got to knock some sense into them, because listening to the internet and all that doesn't make you a true, one who protests. That's just following, like sheep. And that led to a slaughter. That's not the right way. I like what you say, brother. That's not tino rangatiratanga. That's not mana moturake. That's right. And we don't definitely go down to Parliament to get freedom. What?
No. Yeah. But all good. Despite all of that, it's all good. It used to annoy me, but I've gone past through being annoyed by that. It got a little bit heavy, but I did a lot of breathing exercise through that whole week. But all good.
Well, that got me upset, brother, when I see those things and what they're trying to say about you and that, eh? So I think, where is Johnny come lately's coming from?
Yeah, no,
good.
Yeah. We know truth. Yeah, we know who we are. That's
right.
all that matters.
Yes, that's right.
And, we've been called worse things than that.
Yeah, from the real ones.
By bigger, we've been called worse things than that.
Well, so, Uncle, Dad has a movie coming out in September, October maybe, around the raids. There was the TV series around the Polynesian Panthers.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Was the art reflective of the reality, or was it a little bit Hollywood?
Yeah, pure sensationalism, brother. Those fellas got paid money to do it, so I guess they did ask us for permission and for advice and that, but as per usual, they're not Taika Waititi. They don't run true. They're not, I says, go for it. If you're going to do anything, go for it. At least you get the money to do it. Try and stick to the truth if you can. But I know that they got to please all the TV3 people and all those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Until, Merata. You got to be true like that. Māori TV, you got to be true like that. Hepi, Merata-san, you got to be true like. So there'll be a lot of our young ones coming through who will want to tell the story. Like Te Whenua. man, so like yourselves now, this is the way to do it, and I'll only come if I know that it's the people that are, asking for these things are true. And, you can tell. So as we go, we will attract the same spirit, the true ones. Yeah. Because after all, it's for the children. It's for the children. It's for the children. They got to know the truth. That's what we've changed, and what we're changing. Yeah.
Hey, Uncle, how's Niue with climate change, with the challenges of the world today? How is Niue?
Oh, brother, Niue, and I give thanks to the New Zealand government for this. They gave Niue the means to get COVID free. So the whole island was vaccinated, and there's only like 2,500 people on the island. There's about 30 people in my mother's village. We're all out here. Mm-hmm. But Jacinda and her crew gave Niue the vaccination, so the whole island. And for global warming, well, Niue is like 30 feet above sea level. The rising water will never affect Niue unless it's a huge tsunami, Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as far as self-sufficient, because the majority of Niue are out here and there's less of a population on Niue Island, the food has grown plentiful. There's nobody there to eat it.
You shouldn't be saying this on our live stream.
I know, brother.
It's just like I'm already looking at. I'm already looking online to find out where I can buy some land.
I know, brother. I know. It's like the secrets that you keep, eh? You don't tell where the best fishing spots and all of that are, eh? I'm always trying to hit you people up and tell me where, but that's cool. Well, nobody else except Niue's can go back to Niue at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were back?
2017.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the food was so plentiful. And here's one thing too, brother. They passed a law that, about the coconut crab, the unga. That's a delicacy. And like at the Otara markets up here, one unga is $100.
Wow.
The coconut crab. Mm-hmm. Nobody is allowed to bring unga out of Niue now. It's been banned. So if you want to have unga, the delicacy, you got to go up there.
I know. Last time I went to Rarotonga, there was a thing with the fisheries or something that they had. They'd sold the fishing rights, and we couldn't get any of the tuna or anything at the local markets and stuff because the government had sold it all, and it was like there was some kind of weird deal. I remember that was a big deal. That was a couple of years ago. So that's pretty awesome, and that Niue has managed to kind of put that in place.
Oh yeah, Niue is debt free.
Right.
Doesn't owe any other country anything. Also, Niue is part of New Zealand's protectorate. Self-governing, but there's a memorandum of understanding that because we're New Zealand citizens, we don't have a Niue dollar or currency. We use New Zealand money. Yeah, and New Zealand passport. Our passports was done away in 1974. But bro, about the colonial buzz and that, they did the same thing to Niue. Niue people didn't know until 1921 that they were part of Queen Victoria's realm,
Wow.
Yeah, and Niue's never had a king.
One thing I noticed though, like over here, we lost a lot of land, but you go to the islands and you fellas still own the land.
That's why we fight for tangata whenua, brother.
Kia ora.
Until that happens, and they pay the rent, until that happens, we'll keep fighting. we know what it's like, you know, not to have your own land and your own language and stuff. You got to fight for it. But then, see, us in the Pacific here, we got to do it together. You can't do it on your own. That's obvious. Yeah. But the thing too is that you have a treaty. You signed a treaty, you know. So we say, well, respect that or else. You know, our Taina, our Tuakana, we go back thousands of years, man. And then these fellows from up there come down here and try and do a deal and go back and pay the rent. It's like what the Aborigines say. Okay, you can go home now.
Yeah, well, my mate Sonda Lee was working over there. She was a diplomat.
Commissioner. High Commissioner.
I never had the chance to go over there while she was staying there for a little while.
Well, brother, I hope if things go right, you know, we'll go over there.
Well, I want to go and catch up with our mate John Pooley, the artist. Oh, you know, I better take some box of red wine for him. You
got it.
I don't. Not for me, for him. He likes his vino. Very good artist. Very good artist.
Oh yeah.
He's one guy that I pay a lot of respect to, and you know, I spend a lot of time with John. You call in, have a chat.
Yes.
You know, it's a good thing about meeting up with fellas like that. He's up all night. You know, he's up all night and he's working and he's a chatterbox. So we So I'll come with you. Well, let's go. We'll find a spare day.
Good. Yes.
And hang out.
Oh, you come up. I'll put on a show for you.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sounds like trouble. Sounds like trouble. Oh, I'd love to have you up here, but so thank you for hanging out with us, mate. Yeah, thank you for that.
Good, brother, thank you.
With respect, you know, and you know, in 40, 50 years later, here we are, still here chatting.
Yes, brother.
A lot easier.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll play.
Kia ora matua. Well, it's lovely to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at such short notice and doing the you know, coming in. And we'll have to get you on again. And if you two do end up doing a bit of a world tour, we'll have to send a film crew with you and see how that goes.
Okay. I look forward to that too, brother. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Matua.
Stay safe, everybody.
Your uncle. Bye-bye.
Ka kite, my brother.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was great. I can't hear myself from here, but it was good. It was good to have him on there. But I was just looking at some of the comments there. One from Jocelyn. Jocelyn, you fellas cuss. Jocelyn, but she mentioned about talking to Saskia or Riro. Debbie Saskia been around. She was the one that revealed the murder of those people in East Timor, and she spent a bit of time in East Timor. She's a hardcore activist
journalist, isn't
she?
she?
Yeah, and she was the one, the Indonesia, then because she had her mate, and so she remained at home, and so I think they shot the guy from here, I think, at the Urupa, and a few people got shot, the East Timorese people, and. So
and she got footage out, didn't she? She got essential footage out.
She had to put it between their legs.
Yeah.
And managed to talk to a diplomat for, I can't remember which country it was. So she was quite traumatized by that whole time. So she came over and stayed with us that period of time after she returned back here to Aotearoa. But she gone back over to she's over back in Holland, Netherlands.
Oh yeah.
Her birthday we're supposed to have our birthday together at the same time. She's 70, she'll be 70. But it'll be good to have her online, and also Riro Pakomio. Also another character, he was there during the Pinochet invasion when back in the 70s, because most of the kids from Rapa Nui high school stage, they got to go to Chile for that. So it'd be interesting to bring those guys. We'll try and catch up with them and see if they can come online and have a chat.
Yeah, that'd be great to catch up with her around East Timor.
Yeah, and talk about East Timor and all that. Yeah. So I just about finished
The
this
kind of stuff that
painting.
is. Okay, what do you want to do?
Well, we can auction it tonight.
Ati thinks that's funny too.
Yeah, why did he say, do you need fish and chip money?
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, well, it's just, people, might we need a bit of art hanging on their walls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I hate it when he pulls the stuff on us at the last,
Hey?
Yeah, well, the other one there, that is actually up on the website, tameiti.co.nz. The current highest bid is 6,000. The leading bid for the painting Te Moana o Toi, and that is the proceeds of that is going to the burns unit, the National Burns Unit out of Middlemore Hospital, in memorial of those who passed and those who were injured and impacted by the Whakaari eruption back in 2019. So Dad has painted that and is passing that over. So the current highest bid is at 6,000, which is pretty low, I got to say, actually. So we know there's probably some bidders waiting in the wings, but I'd get in and...
When does that close?
Sunday.
That auction?
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday midnight, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got a couple more days.
Over there. Is there one there? Okay,
Dad. Maybe we should wait till the big one sells before we auction off your little one, eh?
Okay.
Okay.
Put that on the side.
Put it on the side.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think maybe we should just try and concentrate on the fundraiser one first, and then we'll,
We won't split the attention.
No, not a problem.
Yeah.
Easy. Just having you fellas on.
If anyone was interested in that little one, just it's not official.
Reach out.
Yeah,
You can talk.
That was cool, man. He's such a great energy.
What a
good.
Beautiful man.
Yeah.
Uncle Tingy. He's amazing to hear that camaraderie from the Pacific Island crew. If we'll be here fighting for you because understanding that how much we lost as tangata whenua. Amazing.
I find it quite interesting too, and I'm only just starting to kind of hear and understand the tuakana taina kōrero between the cultures. Dad, is that can you explain that a little bit to me?
Yeah. Well, it depending where you are at. Some people have different version to that, and we tend to say, because of our connection, because from the mātāwaka. Yeah, that's only referring to our connection on the waka people. Yeah, but we don't totally come from the waka people. We are whakapapa to that, but we also whakapapa to the original people from here. Te ngā pōtiki te hapu one. And we refer them as o mātou tuakana. And ko rātou, te moana nui a kiwa. And and we still do, ki ngā tuakana. And but funny thing, back in the 60s, we had to, you know, we had to snap some of our relations from that. You know, it wasn't really a good the way we were talking to them. You know, the way they got those damn coconuts and their bananas. You know, their kind of attitude and behaviour. Yeah, well, it wasn't very good. I actually had to go with at some of our whānau, well, my tūhoi side. We're all Nazi hooks, you know, and yet a lot of us are married to a lot of to our tuakana, you know, even in our family. We got, you know, from our whānau with Rarotonga, Niue, Tonga. They're all here. They're all whakapapa now to us in our whānau, but they are on the mahuri side. Yeah. So time have changed. It's totally quite different now. It's, we're much more blended and more respectful of each other. And a lot of fights, a lot of physical fight violence that happened during that period of time, particularly around in the pubs. And I know I've been in a couple of those fights there in the criteria pub in Otahuhu, and and in particular in the Kiwi pub in Auckland City. Yeah. So time has changed. So we all moved on ever since. Yeah. Ka pai. And big activities now is Auckland now known to be the largest Polynesian city in the world, and big population.
I actually do miss that when I'm, you know, been down here in Whakatane, there isn't the Pacific Island community or population, and I forget when I go back to Auckland. I'm like, there's the Cuzzies. When you head up to Māngere and Otara. Somebody said the Otara markets have been shut for the last while, and that they're missing the Otara markets, which I understand. But back when I was living in Auckland, we were every weekend we were at either Māngere or the Otara markets.
Somebody say, where's that? Where's this land over here? This is down in here, around this area. So there's Putawaki, and so you're walking down from the Tarawera down, and this is all the Ranitaike Plains, or Ngātiawa, and also Te Arawa can connect you to here. But mai nā kuri a whare ke tihirau, te moana o toi. So there's a whakaari and Mautohora, and down the way down to the coast. And so that's a landscape. Yeah.
That was actually
so,
that was
you're keen to have that hanging on your whare. All for you. Just put your
that was
price
Auntie
out there.
Books that was asking that question. And just a shout out to Auntie Books. Thanks for looking after our Twitch channel there. Thank you. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, there was always the kōrero. If you don't know the kōrero of Tarawera, Putawaki, and Whakaari, as the story goes, that Putawaki and Tarawera were married, or you know, together, he hono, and Putawaki was had a bit of a glad eye for Whakaari. He was sort of like, ooh, check out Whakaari out there in the moana, being all Whakaari-ish. And so, while in the middle of the night, he decided to go for a little tipi haere, and was on the way out to go and have a session in the mattress room with Whakaari. But his kid, the kid of, and what was the name of the kid? The tama of Putawaki me Tarawera? Dad.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah. So they had a kid, and then anyway, the kid was going, "Hey, Dad, what you up to? Where you going? Where you going, Dad? Dad, where you going? What are you doing?" He was like, "Go home to your mum." He was like, "Dad, where you going?" And the daylight arrived, and Maunga can only move at night, and well, he got stuck halfway between. Of course, Tarawera woke up in the morning, blew her top, as happens, and that's the eruption. And Whakaari is constantly sending out smoke signals to Putawaki, saying, this is what you missed out on, bro. So that's the story, the connection in there too.
Everyone really appreciating your whakaari-ish.
Of being all whakaari-ish.
Is that how you spell it there? Whakaari-ish.
Double whakaari, double A.
On that one there.
Yeah, K double A.
Okay, hashtag that mofo.
You used to be TT back in the days in the 50s and the 60s. And whānau used to go out there in the TT season. And then, of course, they had an eruption there. There's a fellow got drowned, actually, down during that period. I was ready to go and jump on the boat to go to Whakaari, and so they cancelled the whole thing. There would have been early 60s. Yeah. So I didn't go down. The only time I've been to Whakaari was when the Greenpeace was here. I pushed around there on the Zodiac. Yeah, and on my way out to the coast, so we sailed there on the Rainbow Warrior too, and came all the way from Auckland and parked up parked up in Matata. We parked up in Matata. There was a big campaign about the
Tarawera River, do you know?
The homesy down Tasman, pulp and paper, flush out to the lakes, and down to Paru to the Tarawera. And Steve Ma was part of that, and many others from Rangitihi during that period of time. Yeah.
Appreciating the te reo puns out there, Axiom. Whakaari-ish, next minute, whakaaria mai.
Never mind the whakamaria. Never mind that one.
Next minute, whakaaria mai. Moi mai rā. Yeah, funny.
Never mind that.
I just wanted to, there was a kaitiaki o ngā tamariki, kia ora, tēnā koe. They were doing a bit of a mihi to us earlier on, so I just wanted to say, yo, what's happening? It was something else. Oh, Juju Kaka. I like that name. The people on Twitch have quite good little names that we can play with. Juju Kaka is good.
Wow.
Juju Kaka.
I guess it's all the gaming tags and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like bullshit. Yeah.
I don't think Dad's getting the jokes tonight.
Yeah.
And what about the one you're working on there, my father?
Yeah, I'm still working. I mean, I got photos of 3 other pictures on this one, and this one here, and yeah. I just playing with colors. There's 3 different colors from that color to this, and it's still with the iratanata coming through from different stages in the color of green. Yeah, funny though, we an interesting thing when we particularly the down in when we get the sunrise and the sunset, and give all the amazing colors, in different period of time, makariri. Yeah, so I haven't come up with it. I just kind of paint it, and I'll come up with a kōrero around it, I'm sure. But there's must be about 20 coats of paint in here. Yeah, it will last a long time, this one. Got a good feel on it. Yeah, but I actually do like this one here. There's there are 2 different colors, that and that, in the color blue and white. Yeah. Good feel, that one. Yeah, even better when you see it on live here.
It's a nice painting, that painting.
Yeah.
I would,
Yeah.
And we took it along. We took this painting along to there's a golf tournament at Ohope as part of the fundraising, and so they were doing auctioning off a number of other things, and we took the painting along, and there was actually a lot of appreciation for that piece from the locals, you know, and it's really good that I think it's, you know, that Ohope crowd, not that we have to, you know, please them or anything like that, but you know, it's quite nice to show this side of yourself, and to, you know, you're still yourself, you rock up in your hat, and God, the amount of people that come up to you and want to shake your hand and say, oh, kia ora tame, kia ora, and get a selfie with you. But I could see that they were very appreciative of the generous gesture that you made.
Oh no, all good.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Reaching out across communities.
Yeah. I have given painting to different organisations over the years. To Korero down in Mihinarani, to when the kid was at I think it was the Korero, in the colour blue. I said one there. I have given some when I was in Waikeria to Cambridge to a youth program there. But you know, I reckon always good to give away and give something. He whakaara nui tērā to you know, to our community, to people out there, and yeah, you know, or just give it away. You may happen to pop in and see me sometime, you may end up with a painting, but whatever, the moments.
Okay, stop it.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, it is a fundraiser, so the more you know, it's the more people want to put in, the more that it goes to a good cause. So go check out tameiti.co.nz and see where things are at with that. If you want a Tame Iti painting and one that goes to where the money goes to a good cause.
Yeah, I was just thinking while I'm sitting here, because I was thinking about so many struggles and everything seemed to be focused on Ukraine, but actually there's some really huge stuff happening in different places, particularly up in Canada. The pipeline going through their villages, and there have been some resistance up there. I've been talking to some of my mates from the Great Turtle Island in Canada. He's Mohawk, and so there's a lot of stuff happening up that part of the world, and also there's been things happening in Burma, and with the Burmese people, and they've been going for a long time, and there's been resistance there, particularly with the Burmese, the Karen people down between the borderlines between Burma and Thailand, and there's a huge resistance there too.
Used to be called Myanmar, wasn't it?
What's that?
Burma.
Yeah. We had
Changed. I don't know the history of that.
we had a fellow called Burmese Bill, and he was the one hanging around with the Black Power. I think he was he a prime minister? But he became a refugee. He was brought here. I'm not too sure whether he was brought here by Holyoke.
It's now called Myanmar.
Yeah,
Formerly Burma.
Yeah,
Myanmar.
Burma.
Southeast Asian nation of more than 100 ethnic groups. That's what in Southeast Asia is like that too. Indonesia is the same. And that's why their coat of arms, they have strength through unity, because they have so many different ethnic groups within the one country. All of the different islands all had their own languages and cultures, and then there was a great unification through different generations, different different periods.
Yeah,
so it
well,
looks like the same in Myanmar.
Yeah, they've been here in the last 5 years, and they came here and in up a few days with them here, and they brought here to Ruatoki, down at the Te Uru Taumatua, and took them around, and a group of young activists, writer artists, and actually I got one of their paintings, a really interesting painting that was given to me. It might be in here actually, that work. Yeah, so everything been drowned away because of what's been happening in Europe, but take anō tēnā.
Old Axioms there saying, let's not forget about the Rohingya people as well. I'm not that familiar with that.
I think that's around the same area.
Oh, yeah.
Around Myanmar.
Okay.
And there was a massacre, basically, or a genocide.
Yes.
And
I do
ongoing
remember
persecutions
Yeah.
of the Muslim Rohingya people.
That's right.
By what was then the Burmese military.
Yeah,
That's
same,
right.
with same with the Naga people, the Nagaland, which colonized by the Indians. And there's been some strong resistance by the Naga people. I think in between Nagaland is in between Bangladesh and India. Wow. There's a little wee country there.
You know, there's a point to what you're saying there, because I'm reading this now. I mean, it is on Wikipedia, but it looks to be fairly credible that it was only back in 2016 and 2017. This is like yesterday. This is not that long ago. I remember what was happening in 2017, and I didn't hear much about this, but the crisis forced over 1 million people, Rohingya, to flee to other countries. Most fled to Bangladesh. That's 1 million people.
Yeah.
Like, when you're talking about the Ukraine, we know there's hundreds of thousands have fled, but like you said, it's dominating the news at the moment. But when this happened back in 2017, 2016, you hardly heard boo. And you wonder whether that is due to systemic racism, that when it happens in countries like this, I mean, I'm sure there was a bit of a report, but it certainly wasn't what was is happening now. And you're talking about over 1 million people. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But everybody knows about Ukraine. I will remember this and how Russia invaded, but 1 million people fleeing? That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I seem to remember that it was the president or the leader of the country at the time who, and she was.
I do remember that.
She was considered like a Nelson Mandela figure at the time.
And the military
and then she and that's right. And then she went into this genocide type style.
Burmese Bill, the one I'm talking about. He escaped there. I think Keith Holyoake brought him here and let him in, and because he was also either a minister of the government during that period of time. He was a really interesting guy. He was sort of acting as a mentor for Dennis O'Reilly. Yeah, it'll be good. Have we had Dennis online?
Well, no, we haven't had him on here.
Yeah, it'll be good to have Dennis online.
Yeah. He's fascinating.
Yeah. He's a fascinating, Irishman.
I had him on. I had Dennis on Media Taki.
Yeah.
He came on when we were talking about some gang issues, because he's ex-Black Power, eh?
Aye.
And he still is somebody that gets sent in to try to ease gang tensions at times.
Yeah.
To go and have that kōrero.
Yeah.
And I think didn't he turn up at the Mahurihure with the Drug Foundation?
Yeah, Dennis.
I think so, yeah. I think he helped, was working around the Drug Foundation, the New Zealand Drug Foundation.
Yeah.
Rhonda Tawhai here saying Myanmar was Burma. My ex-husband lived there because his dad, a professor of biology, helped with their third world agricultural endeavors. Very sad plight for the people, and didn't have to Wikipedia that with my own knowledge. Oh, that sounds like a bit of a burn on the Wikipedia use, mate.
Yeah, she would have known. She would have known Burmese Bill.
We do what we must.
Yeah, right, research.
I sometimes go through down whole Wikipedia rabbit holes of just going from, because one thing, this is what I do usually when I'm on Wikipedia, and I was just about to do this just before because I had no idea. I'm reading about the persecution of the Rohingya, I think it's Rohingya people, and that has been happening since the 1970s, persecuted on a regular basis by the government and Buddhist nationalists. And so then I go click on Buddhist nationalists, and I'm like, Buddhists are persecuting people? Aren't they the peace-loving? And they're talking about the Buddhist nationalist movement opposed to what they see as Islam's expansion into predominantly Buddhist Myanmar. And the 969 movement, the 3 digits of 969 symbolize the virtues of the Buddha. Yeah, I thought the Buddhists were pretty much largely peaceful religion, but actually now that I think about it, I have heard of some Buddhist monks kind of going pretty hard.
Just goes to show.
Just goes to show. So yeah, these are the kinds of Wikipedia rabbit holes that I sometimes disappear down. Kind of go from one subject to the next, but I've actually given to Wikipedia. Have you given to Wikipedia?
I used to, when I was working for 660, the 660 page, there was a guy who used to get on there and put himself as a member of the band. And it was just like, there'd be 5 members plus this one guy who nobody knew. And it was just constantly in Wikipedia. And he would go in and change it all the time. So it was hysterical.
Hilarious.
But I wonder if it's still there. So that's the only time I've kind of,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is anybody can go on, but usually it sort of flags it if it's dubious with regards to its references, because you always have to give a reference to something. You can go back in and check actually where it's referenced to, whether it's come from credible sources or someone's just gone in there, and you do have to be careful in Wikipedia too. But yeah, Islamophobia by Buddhists. And of course, then you have Sri Lanka and the civil war that's been going on there for a long time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially what happened to the Tamil.
With the Tamils.
Tamil tiger. Yeah.
The Tamil people in Sri Lanka, horrendous. And then you've got the Tamil Tigers, who are the revolutionary or military wing of the Tamil people.
Yeah. They're still waiting for their husband and brothers and dad disappear in the mist.
Oh yeah, there's LEL just saying Aung San Suu Kyi.
Oh yeah, Buddhist.
Yeah, she was the Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, still under house arrest, and hailed as an outstanding example of the power of the powerless. In 2015, she led her National League for Democracy (NLD) to victory in Myanmar's first openly contested election in 25 years. But she was deposed by a coup in 2021, last year, when the military took control and arrested her. She was all for Rohingya Muslim being annihilated.
Yeah, I think her dad got executed.
What?
What was that, Dad?
Her dad, the woman you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got executed.
Oh, he got executed.
Just to carry on. from his days to her. Yeah, interesting, because I spent a bit of time there in and out of Southeast Asia, working at NGO, and was through an organisation called Korero. And Korero was that particular program funded by the UN through the Netherlands. And Korero was a group there that was accused by Muldoon supplying arms, money to buy AK for the what's his name from South Africa, the group over there.
AAC.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, was it?
ANC.
ANC.
Yeah.
The ANC.
Yeah. And the days where we used to do fundraising. So we used to fundraise for Korero. And so for every dollar we make that, the Muldoon will give $1. And we used to raise money from that. And then he cut it off because the guy that was operating there was, we did get funded, and that organisation was also challenged by Te Whai Harawira, because because a lot of people, rich people, actually give a lot of money away. In fact, put a will out, and they give their farm and even the asset to Korero. And particularly some farms down in the South Islands. Some people there gave their whole farm, and so we, the organisation, get money from that, and so that's how I ended up going to in and out of Southeast Asia, working with all the Naga people, the Pakistanis, the Indians, Japanese, everybody. It's an interesting period of time, and I met up with a lot of the peasants. There was a guy there who was in charge of about 35,000 peasants, farmers in Thailand. So all around in Cambodia, Laos, right up to the bottom of China and to Burma, and that's where I met a lot of. I met some Maoris over there, come from the Vietnam War, and they went in there. They were hired there, shifting. There was a lot of scam was going around during the war in Cambodia, and all of that kind of stuff. So it was an interesting period of time for me in the 80s. And I used to stop in and see you fellas, Toy, when he was going to school, and calling on my way over to, that part of the world. Yeah, so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I thought I'd come up with some ideas, and I remember catching a cab from Kathmandu going to Tibet, to the borderlines, going through the mountains. And a professor and I found a mate from Thailand, which we share, I think cost us $60 US. It's a long trip there and back. And then a fella came out and out of nowhere, like passing through, like going from Ruatahuna and going out to Kahununu. Then there's a fella turned up with a 303, halt, and stopped the cab, and he go and have a chat with the cab driver. So he had to pay something like 20 cents or $1, and just to go through their rohe, through their boundary lines. Yeah. So I thought, that's not a bad idea. We should be charging people going the way to going to Waikaremona. A lot of people go to the lake. I kind of passed the idea to, but nobody took it on.
Kai te aki o ngā tamariki hea hao tō whakaaro o Tame Iti. That's always a
yeah.
That's quite a that gets
It's
people
HD.
worked up. What's that?
HD resolution. 1080, isn't it? 1080p.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had big conversations about 1080 actually being used.
So you must do regional
with
council
the regional
person?
council. I am not for just dropping poison everywhere, and I understand why the hunters get incredibly upset about it, and you know they're not necessarily the most, let's say, articulate group, so they end up just saying fuck 1080. But I understand the sentiment when 1080 is dropped in their dogs that they have spent a lot of time and care with regards to their hunting dogs eating the poison, and it's a terrible way to go. Have you ever seen an animal have 1080? So I'm certainly not for the random dropping of 1080. But we have some serious pest problems. The rokumitas smashing, because so you're talking about the next generation of bush that is to succeed once this generation, you know, because trees only last so long, and you need a succession, new generation of trees coming through, and they're getting smashed by pests, and we do run the risk, and it's a very real risk of these forest systems failing because of rampant pests and possums. The thing is too is that we have shifted as a culture. Back in the day, people used to go up into the bush and keep these pests controlled. I mean, we call them pests, but they're animals. They're possums. We label them and call them pests, but they are animals, and they are not in their natural habitat because they have no natural predators. So they get out of control, and so we have to go and hunt them. But people aren't going and hunting them anymore. So the very real issue is that if anybody has any other better ideas, then go and do it. That's the issue. Somebody needs to. You can't even. I was talking to this fellow who does pest management down in the Rokumitas, and he was like 60. One of those guys who's really, you can see they've worked hard all their lives, like not a scrap of fat on him, and he's just those, you can see the sinews in their arms, and he's a goat hunter, and he was like, well, can't get anybody. He's still up there killing goats, and he'll have a couple with them, but he's like, nobody wants to go and do the mahi. So that's the issue. Unless we can develop drones with thermo vision technology, and we stick guns on them. You always got to be careful of sticking guns on drones, but some other method or way of controlling these animals who are breeding out of control because they have no natural predators here in very rugged country. So they're up into caves. It's not like you can just wander in and have a day trip. You got to go 2-3 days into the bush with equipment to deal with them. So that is the issue. And in areas where they have used 1080, like in the Rokumitas, the birds have returned. They have managed to get them under control. I don't fall into the conspiracy that Doc is making a huge amount of money or somebody's making a huge amount of money out of it. I think it falls into, at times, the conspiracy of incompetence that we were talking about before. I think Doc could be a bit loose and fast in the way that they've used it in the past. There's certainly been ways that they've applied 1080 that have not worked and have put animals like hunting dogs into danger. But if you, that's the one thing that I would say to the fuck 1080 crowd is, what are some other options that need to be brought to the table because we have a responsibility to keep these taonga for future generations if we can. Anyway, that's my kōrero on 1080. But I don't, not that I've been put in a position where I've had to vote for or against 1080, but I've certainly said at the table that I am not one. I do not believe putting poison into our natural environment is a good course of action. In general and under principle, I don't think that it is, but I also acknowledge that there is a very serious issue that has high stakes, and we need to come up with some better ideas. So koina.
Yeah. We might have to put a marker to it.
Yeah, let's do a study on that, eh? We'll put a makatu, we'll have a control set, we'll put a makatu on one lot and not a makatu on another lot, and then we'll look at the data and see how it pans out. If makatus are effective, then I'm all for it. I'll find us funding.
Yeah.
What if we could get AI to do it?
Yeah. I think that it's just had to be a mass movement of people working in each of those areas, and yeah. We got to.
Oh wow.
It is. I've seen it. I've seen it from the air, from the helicopter, up in the Uruwera or Mouti Anuanu. You can see places where the trapper's been around, and you see there's nobody done anything around there. So it's hemu. The trees are like hemu. Anyway.
Oh well.
Well, stick to us.
That's us.
Unless somebody else can deal with it.
Someone else can deal with it. They're asking you to fix it, Dad. They're asking your opinion so that you can fix it.
Yeah.
Ka pai. Oh, well, kia ora koutou. Thank you for tuning in for another evening. It was beautiful to have Uncle Tingilo on with us. And it's always good to have you guys here with us. Those who come on weekly and support us, we really appreciate you. Of course, Auntie Boogs over on Twitch, holding it down and moderating for us. And thank you, and for those and giving your whakaaro and your comments, it's really appreciated. And we will see you guys on Monday.
Yeah, and don't forget to pitch in for the painting. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So if you got a lazy 12 grand or 15 grand.
Oh, well, it's at 6 at the moment, so if you got a lazy 6,500.
Yeah.
Or you want to invest in a beautiful Tame Iti painting that will appreciate over time, then you
That's
know where
in
to
value.
go.
Not in
Oh, that too.
appreciation.
Both.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ka pai koutou. Thank you. Hei kona.